All right. What's happening? Brian Edwards, MajorWager.com. We usually have a focus, whether it's on a specific topic or a sport for these videos, but our first one in a couple weeks. So we're just going to kind of, excuse me, jump all over the place. There's a lot of news out today. Let's start with Mark Dantonio. His 13-year tenure at Michigan State is over as he resigned earlier today. We'll talk his career a bit in a second. Let's talk his replacement first. I think you make Luke Fickell at Cincinnati your top target. He's an Ohio State guy, but Ryan Day's not going anywhere anytime soon. None of I don't know if I don't think did he interview for any of those, and all those were lower tier SEC jobs that were open. When you talk about Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Missouri, I don't know if if maybe he turned down interviews. I don't think he got a lot of interest there. Maybe he wasn't interested. I'm not sure, but Michigan State's got to be considered an upper tier Big Ten job. I did see on Twitter about an hour ago, though, that he got a commitment from a 4-star. And he's doing well at Cincy, but I would think Luke Fickell would have a hard time turning that one down as long as you came correct, if you will, from a money standpoint. So we'll see. Obviously, Pat Narduzzi is not going to turn it down, the longtime DC for Dantonio, who has been at Pitt for several years now. I think you can get him, but is that I don't know if you want him. No, nothing bad on Narduzzi, but he's been pretty good at Pitt. Pretty good. But Fickell's a younger guy. He's been recruiting like hell for Cincy. For a Group of 5 team, scoring 4-star recruits is pretty big time. So that's who I think they should go after. We'll see on that. Narduzzi comes to mind. And then it's kind of a tough time. The coaching carousel has kind of been over for weeks. So we shall see. Odd timing, yeah, but there's some whispers that there's some NCAA stuff going on. Some new stuff. Obviously, they've had some things going on there for a few years. Those, what was it, 3 or 4 4-star kids were all kicked out of the program. What was that, 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago? I think it was, some sexual assault accusations. And look, they've struggled since they went to obviously they won the Big Ten in 2015, went to the playoff, got cream cheese bageled by Sabes and Bama out at Jerry World, 38 zilch. And it's been a struggle ever since. They lost Connor Cook that year, and 3-9 the following year. And then a nice answer, went 10-3. And if I'm remembering right, I think they only brought back 4 starters on each side of the ball from that 3-9 team, and they went 10-3. I think that was Lewerke's sophomore year, and then the last 2 years they've just been so average, 7-6 and 7-6. But let's don't forget what he did before that. Now, prior to 15, he went 11-2 and 14. I'm just going in reverse order here, which I shouldn't do. 13-1 and 13. And 2010, 11-2, 2011, 11-3. So he had 5 double-digit win totals in a 6-year stretch. That is really, really good. I don't really care where you're at Michigan State, which is, Michigan State has a good tradition. Has Michigan State ever won any natties? Not in my lifetime. I'm not saying they haven't. I would need to look that up. He also had a 9-4 in 08. So he had a really good tenure, but they've got some NCAA stuff going on right now, which I don't really know the extent to all that. I need to. I'm not up to date on all that, but which I guess could be a hesitation for Fickell. But anyway, putting a wrap on Dantonio, 115 and 57 in 13 years at Sparty, 66.9 winning percentage, 69 and 39 in the Big Ten. As long as they don't get like a bad NCAA situation stemming from his tenure, uh, he deserves an ovation. He had a hell of a tenure. I mean, look, he lost 6 games the first year, 6-7 in 09, a 7-6 in 2012, the 3-9, and then back-to-back 7-6s. So what's that? 3, 4, 5. That's 6 years of 13 of 6 losses or more. That's not good. But the 5 double-digit win totals, and I say double-digit win totals, I should say the 5 years of 11 or more wins, 3 Big Ten championships, won the Rose Bowl in 13 when they finished 13-1, were undefeated in the Big Ten. So he had a heck of a tenure. But it's over, and we'll see what happens there. A little breaking news in the last hour. Arkansas's second best player, Isaiah Joe, who averages 16 points per game, and is one of 10 finalists for the Jerry West Award given to the best shooting guard in the nation. Isaiah Joe, my guy Wes Moore reporting it. He had his knee scoped this morning, and he is out for 2 to 4 weeks. And Arkansas and Auburn are about to tip at Bud Walton here pretty shortly. And by the way, I'm coming to you on Tuesday, post Super Bowl, February 4th. The Chiefs are our NFL Super Bowl champions. We had a debacle with the Patrick Mahomes rushing yards total. He was at 44. It had been anywhere from 28.5 to 36 during the week. It started lower and moved up and up and up. And he had it in the bag. And then the last possession, 3 kneel downs for minus 15 yards because he was trying to eat a little extra clock with each one. And a outstanding gesture by the book PointsBet USA. Because it was such a bad beat, they refunded all bets on that. Or not all, I'm sorry, the under bets won. They paid out. The over bets, not so much. Vanderbilt AD Malcolm Turner resigned today. He took over February 1st of 19. So I'm doing my math right. 368 days ago. And he resigned today. It was an odd hire to begin with. He was the G League commissioner with no history of, I don't even know. I remember reading about him when he got hired and just kind of being a little, what's going on here? But a 24/7 sports report said that Williams, David Williams, the late Vandy AD who resigned or retired, I should say, and then tragically passed away. I want to say it was like 8 days later. I think it was like the day or the day before his retirement party too. It was awful. He had what they were calling a rainy day $17 million fund for the athletic department, if they need it. For whatever. And apparently Turner blew through it in barely a year. And which, I mean, I don't know I need to read more details on it, but I mean, was it good expenditures? I mean, was it an upgrade of facilities? Because you need that at Vandy. In other words, I don't know if it's a bad thing he was spending that money unless he was spending it on his travel and hotel suites or something. I love Derek Mason, and he could have easily fired him this year. He kept him. It's really kind of unfair to judge the Stackhouse hire yet because Aaron Nesmith, the SEC's leading scorer, went down right before conference play started, and they had another key injury as well. And so, I mean, Vandy's obviously struggling bad, but I mean, you can't put that on Stackhouse in year one. So they've already replaced him, or at least with an interim AD. And I'm sorry, I do not have the name in front of me, but she is an African American female. So she becomes the first African American female to be an athletic director in the SEC. Hell, there's not many female athletic directors out there, just period. I know UNLV has one, and there's another school that I definitely know has one, and I'm shooting a blank on it. But anywho, all right, what else we got? Obviously, we've got a full card of games, but by the time I get this up, they will have started. Well, maybe not. Maybe the later ones. Look for Jamal Murray, the sharpshooting two guard out of Kentucky, one of the best shooters in the league, who's been out several weeks now with an ankle. He might come back tonight. I've been waiting on this injury news all day because I like Denver if he is upgraded. But Michael Porter Jr. is out. You all remember him from Missouri, who really hardly played, was one and done, and then didn't. I don't think he played at all last year. He's finally getting some playing time. He's finally healthy, and he's playing good basketball right now. Some other injuries in the NBA. Dallas All-Star Luka Doncic out indefinitely. Probably, except for the ankle injury, I think like 4 or 5 days ago. Probably out like 2 weeks, week and a half, 2 weeks, like he was when he did the same thing about 2 months ago. Okay. All right. Best ATS teams in the nation in college hoops right now. Yale 14-4 against the spread. Winthrop 16-5 against the spread. Austin Peay 15-5-1. What's Austin Peay's mascot? The Governors. Lafayette 15-5-1. South Dakota State 17-6 ATS. Northern Iowa, the Ben Jacobsons 14-5-1 to the number. California Baptist, which I've never even heard of, 14-5 against the spread. North Florida, which is in Jacks, 16-6 against the spread. Arkansas Little Rock, coached by former Nick Darrell Walker, 16-6-1 against the spread. And Alabama 15-6 against the spread. They had covered 12 in a row and were the best ATS team in the nation at 15-3. Then they had the non-covering home win over Kansas State in the Big 12, or I'm sorry, SEC Big 12 Challenge. I don't know what I say. The SEC first. You can go to MajorWager.com. You can read my article about Dayton, the Flyers. That's my pick to win it all with Obi Toppin. Anthony Grant's teams won 11 in a row, winning 8 of those games by 13 points or more. Their only losses, neutral court in overtime to Kansas and Colorado. Colorado's got a really good team. Man, Boyle has done a hell of a job there. That program was garbage for decades, other than a brief cup of coffee with Chauncey Billups. That program had been garbage for decades before Boyle got there. And now that program is really solid. The late game tonight in the SEC Super Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, Mississippi State at Kentucky. Mississippi State has covered 7 in a row, 5-2 straight up in that span. The only losses by one at LSU, and that Saturday snoozer against Oklahoma in the SEC Big 12 Challenge. But they went to Gainesville, overcame a 16-point deficit last week, and beat my Gators, who are definitely on the bubble. But one going away at Vandy the other night, and really have the schedule is easing up on the Gators here the next couple weeks as they get Vandy again, they get A&M, they get Missouri at home, which is a revenge game. But every time I think the Gators are about to get it going, they have you blow a 16-point lead to Mississippi State. Still, like, the loss at Missouri. I mean, if you lose a close game, you just got blown out at Missouri. Obviously, that's weeks ago I'm talking about. And then the loss to Utah State in South Florida. It's a long trip for that. Look, Utah State's good, but I mean, I don't know if Utah State's going to make the tournament though. If they, I don't, I think they're like 50-ish at Ken Palm here lately. Good news for Seton Hall. Now they've been on a winning streak that got snapped the other day by Xavier, which is good for the Gators because that's Florida's best non-conference win. Quincy McKnight went down with an injury. It did not look good. The MRI came back clean. He is day-to-day, averaging 11.5 points, 5.3 assists, 3.3 rebounds, and 1.8 steals per game. If you missed it, 4 or 5 days ago, Ohio State freshman guard DJ Carton has stepped away from the team to deal with some mental health issues. No timetable for his return. In the first 20 games of his career, he was averaging 10.4 points, 3.0 assists, and 2.8 rebounds per game. So Michigan back in action. They're one of my plays. By the way, my picks are hot. 13-5 in college since January 28th. For the season in the NBA, I am 48-30, 61.5%, plus 14.84 units since January 2nd, 33-16 run. Went 2-0 last night in both college hoops and the NBA. And tonight I'm on Michigan. You're not going to get these before tip, but Michigan -2 against Ohio State. Ohio State, since they beat Kentucky out in Vegas, they've just been deplorable. They were mired in an 0-7 against the spread slump with only one outright win, a non-cover at home to Nebraska, the worst team in the Big Ten. Now, they snapped out of that. They won at Northwestern, and then they got a home win over, I believe it was Indiana. Look at it was Indiana this past Saturday. And they're at Michigan. Now, Michigan, Simpson, the senior guard, team captain, got suspended for a game by Juwan Howard. Nevertheless, with him and Isaiah Livers out, they still won at Nebraska. And then they beat Rutgers in NYC. I'm assuming that game was played at MSG. So now they've won back-to-back games. They've got Ohio State at home tonight. Buckeyes 2-4, but straight up and against the spread and 6 road assignments. I'm on Michigan. I'm on under 144 for Sparty and Penn State. And I've got those numbers for you right here, I think. Where the hell is it? Oh, shoot. Here we go. The under's on a, oh my God, we've already gone 18 minutes. Sheesh. All right, let's wrap this up. Under on a 6-0-1 run for Michigan State in its last 7, and the under is on a 3-0 run for Penn State. I feel like there was some other NBA interest. So Kyrie's out for like a couple more games. I mentioned Doncic. Look out for Jamal Murray. Paul Millsap is still out indefinitely. The Nuggets have been hit hard by injuries, but they're still playing well. Westbrook is doubtful tonight for the Rockets, and Capella is out. Capella, all sorts of trade rumors around him. Maybe the Hawks. Who's the other team I saw got involved? The Celtics, I think. Deadline's Thursday. Check out Woj's Twitter account to stay up to date on all that. But tomorrow, Marcus Smart and Kemba Walker are questionable against Orlando. The Hawks are dealing with a bunch of injuries. If you're betting any of their games anytime soon. New Mexico is down to 7 scholarship players. You see, I just switched sports on you. We went from NBA to college hoops. Jeff Grammer is a good Mountain West Lobo follow on Twitter. The Houston player biting a Cincy player the other day. What in the world was that? He suspended 1 game. What's worse, biting somebody or punching them? Seriously. I mean, as long as it was a good bite. I mean, if it was like a Mike Tyson bite on Holyfield, I mean, he's spitting out chunks of his ear. I mean, I think I'd rather be punched than bitten, maybe. As long as it's not right to my Nice mug, but yeah, I mean, I'll take a liver punch or a punch to the gut any day before a bite. Ooh, oh yeah, fade list, worst ATS teams. Iona, where have you gone, Jeff Rulin? He's not been coaching there for a long time. The former Washington Bullet. Iona 3-13-1 against the spread. Samford, Christopher Smith's alma mater, second worst ATS team in the country. 5-15-1 to the number. North Dakota 5-15. Wagner 5-14. Kennesaw State 6-16. UMass 6-15. Illinois State 6-15. Xavier 6-15-1, and Toledo 6-15. What else? Oh, and then your updated futures from DraftKings. Gonzaga plus 800 favorite. Next shortest odds: Kansas 10-1, Baylor 11-1, Duke 11-1, Oregon 12-1, Sparty 15-1, FSU 20-1, FSU no Final Four since '72, Louisville 20-1, Kentucky 22-1, Villanova 22-1. All right, here are my value plays at the moment at DraftKings. College basketball teams that definitely can win the national title, but if you bet these at these longer odds, they don't have to win the national title for you to make money. As long as they get the Sweet 16, definitely the Elite Eight, you'll be in business, and you'll be able to hedge all sorts of different ways. So these are my value plays as a future bet right now. Dayton, my favorite at 30-1, but I'm okay with a Maryland 30-1, a San Diego State 30-1, still undefeated, by the way. Texas Tech 50-1, Iowa 60-1, and LSU 61. And by the way, Luke Garza is now the Wooden Award favorite at plus 150 odds, followed by Peyton Pritchard at Oregon, and then it would be Toppin from Dayton at plus 350. Pritchard was the chalk. Pritchard is now plus 200. Luka Garza, what a thriller that was at Carver Hawkeye Arena on Sunday afternoon before the Super Bowl. It got heated at the end. I thought Illinois was in the wrong on all that. And I know Fran McCaffrey has had a history of being losing his cool, being this or that. I didn't think that was going on at all the other day. That was all on Illinois. And where the hell was Brad Underwood for all that? They're doing the coaches meeting at midcourt, and you got Ron Chin Goldman and Jamal, I think it was Jamal Walker, the other assistant, are just chirping at Fran, and Fran just is, he gets the GTFOH. I can't say the words. Follow that in youngsters parlance, like AF, but it's GTFOH. That's what Fran said. Pulled his team out of the handshake line. They were pressing up on his son with 11 seconds left. Now, the Illinois Twitter will tell you that Underwood said not foul. He did say not foul. The players did not see that. The players were going to trap McCaffrey, and so McCaffrey throws a perfect long ball, and I think it was Wieskamp catches it perfect and dunks the hell out of it. Crowd goes crazy. That is not Bush League, okay? There's nothing Bush League about that. Illinois is pressing up. If you don't want him to dunk, get back on defense. Don't press up. Don't let him dunk. I mean, for that coaching staff to be mouthing at Fran about that, you just got your ass beat. Well, it was a hell of a game. It was close the whole way. Garza just took over down the stretch, and he had a dagger tray from deep. This guy's 6'10", 260 with range, man. You know what? I don't think I've looked at the mock drafts lately. If he's not a lottery pick, then whoever does these mock drafts on these websites are a bunch of morons. Because if that guy's not a top 10 top 10 pick with that size and that range, I don't get that. This guy's good. Imagine if they had Jordan Bohannon on this team. He had to have hip surgery. This Iowa team, I'm telling you, do not fade them when they're at home. I said Iowa and LSU at 60-1. I'm okay with that. Luke Garza is a force, and he is going to be a star in the NBA. Another thing, I've watched a lot of Iowa here recently. Another thing I'm impressed with about him is his cardio. I mean, he's 6'10", 260, and I mean, they play it. I mean, I'm not looking at his average minutes, but I feel like he didn't come out the game very much. And they kind of play a high tempo brand of basketball. So anyhow, all right, we've gone way too long. Brian Edwards, Major Wager. Hope you won your Super Bowl bets. I'm hot in the NBA and college. You can get my picks at brianedwardsports.com. Check them out. Good luck with your hoops bets. Over now.